we go again.
It's Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What up, bro?
Hey man, did you have you been did you keep up or did you get a chance to watch your president's arm salute to him for his birthday?
That's a big negative, sir. I didn't watch it just like people didn't go to it.
Hey, listen, man, they said that thing costed $46 million from the taxpayers to host this thing though, bro.
Yeah, I knew that it was a pretty penny or whatever. And yeah, I knew a lot of people were disappointed with the decision to try to do it. His military parade. But that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Listen, I thought that Doge is supposed to be against these kind of spendings, whatever. I thought that that's the part of the government efficiency. I thought that was one of the things that they would basically say, nah, 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 nah. Now, unless you telling me that he said, nah, this $46 million, I'm gonna take this out of my own money. I'm gonna pay for my own birthday party.
Well, there's a lot of things that I thought was supposed to happen. But again, I ain't got nothing to say about that.
We got a lot of things to talk about. Let's get that music going there, Cat Daddy.
We do.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
If you
of all time.
smell what the rock. It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The greatest podcast of all time.
Hey, listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook pages. We are live on both platforms at the same time. You click on the notification, you click on that little bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys and Miss doing their thing. Ace Kennedy. Not exactly planned here, but I had a feeling this would happen.
Of course. I mean, what would you expect after being? I mean, I don't, even if they was losing, I don't know that I wouldn't be wearing Thunder stuff. Like I got stuff to wear like all week, bro. Uh,
And here, being in Atlanta, it's already hard to find my sports team stuff here. So I'm never gonna find a lot of Saint stuff,
mhm.
even if we win the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna find OKC stuff. It's like it's all Braves and all UGA, all Bama stuff out here though, bro. So yeah. It's hard to find anybody else's. If you ain't got a Southern or Atlanta based team, it's a wrap.
Yeah, man. But I stay on Fanatics anyway because for me, if I buy stuff here, I'm gonna have what everybody else has. So I
Mm.
typically go on Fanatics. People always ask me where I get my OKC stuff. Either I'm on Fanatics or I'm on T Public, or I might even fool around and go to Etsy. Like I like custom stuff, even though but even with my custom stuff, I don't want it to be like the generic custom where like somebody just makes their own Thunder thing. Like I want the logo and stuff on it or whatever, but it has to be. I like custom stuff. So I know a lot of people don't shop at Fanatics, so I'll go there all the time
Okay.
because all three of my, I think I got three custom Ace Kennedy jerseys, and I got them all from Fanatics.
Looking like you part of the staff.
I mean, at this point, I feel like I am, but I get it. Uh, but speaking of which, since we here, let's just jump right into it, and we can, we got, like I said, plus a bunch of stuff to talk about. Um, we're up 3-2. Do you think that we are going to close it out in Indy on Thursday, or are we bringing it back game 7 to do it here?
Right. So listen, I I I thought, right, until you corrected me, that I thought that they would win the game on their home court. I thought that would have been an epic way to really send off and put on for the city, right? With that being said, I think I picked OKC in 6.
Mhm.
By that prediction, though, if this is the case, though, then this next game we will go ahead and take it. And now the tricky part about that is this, though, right? With all things considered, and with due respect to the Pacers, they have beaten OKC in OKC, so I'd at least got to give them at least that little bit of credit.
Let's come on, man.
What
Let's stop with okay. This is
it
what
happened.
it doesn't matter. Here's my thing. Are they capable of winning in Oklahoma, or did
Okay.
they win in Oklahoma? Yes, they did. But is that gonna happen again? No, and here's why. We've gotten beaten on buzzer beaters twice in this playoff series. We lost to Denver game 1 the same way, and that is not going to like here's the thing. I was at the game last night, no flex, but uh I when I got to work today, a lot of people was like, "Oh man, we got super nervous. They got down to 2 points. Blah 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 blah." I said, "Listen, I'm gonna tell you, in the arena, nobody was concerned about them ever taking over the game. They were more concerned about why we weren't scoring anymore. Right? It was never like oh, they about to, oh my God, they gonna come back and take over the game. Nobody was thinking that. Everybody was like, bro,
Mhm.
Chet, why are you not making the basket right now? Like you can't make anything. And I will say I was proud of Chet for at least fighting through his struggles because he struggled mightily, but at least he was still fighting through stuff. And if he didn't, he wouldn't have got that timely dunk at the end of the game where J
I
Dub.
love the timely dunk.
Yes. And it was two-handed, it was with force, like, but if he wouldn't have fought, if he would have just been down on himself about not making baskets, because he was fighting with the refs. It wasn't like he wasn't giving the effort. He was just like, bro, come on now. Like one of these gotta be a foul, bro. Like, and that's what he was fighting through. But all that to say though, nobody in the arena was concerned that the Pacers was gonna win that game. It was more so like, why weren't we making shots? So uh go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this though. I think that one of the things that is an interesting thing that I'll see if they'll go ahead and continue to do. I think that one of the things that was tough is that Chet was getting caught out there guarding guards and faster guards, and so I think a lot of times, right, it did put him on an island, and I think that what's crazy about that is that because he's so slim,
Mhm.
I don't mind him being out there on an island against a taller guard, but the faster guys were just getting it and going past him, though, man. And I think that he still was continuing, right? He never gave up on it, which I can certainly appreciate, though, bro. But I've told you the whole time, I've always thought that, like I know that J Dub is always gonna be like that guy, but if he plays the way that he is supposed to play at an all-star level, and then I would think that Chet would be the guy who I would absolutely say, yeah, this is the next guy up that has to really that make that big impact. I think one of the things that I listen, this is the thing I think. I the one thing that I love about watching OKC and even the Pacers to some degree is that I'm a person who appreciates good defense,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
So for me, like when people are like, "Oh, well, why aren't the Pacers doing that?" And you had to correct me because same thing happened with Ant-Man, where it's like, no, it's not that the Pacers just ain't making shots or ain't they just are turning them over. Like OKC is in them passing lanes. OKC is hounding them, and OKC is doing this. And when I saw Caruso go for the loose ball and dive for the loose ball, I was like, yeah, them boys wanted it though, bro. And I think that those are the little things to me that I personally appreciate because it's like that's part of basketball too. And to be watching it on that high level when people are talking about the ratings, this, that, and the other, I'm thinking like, I don't know what y'all like. Maybe I am biased because this is one of the first times that I'm actively rooting for a team.
Mhm.
But I'm like, I'm still enjoying the whole essence of basketball playing being played out to where You got J Dub who's dropping 40, but he's like one of the two players in the NBA that made all NBA offense and defense though, bro. So he's locking it up though, bro. I think it's incredible high level basketball being played to me, and I just appreciate that with me having a rooting interest that my team that I'm rooting for is actually playing both sides of the ball how I like to see basketball played though, bro.
Well, the other thing too, you got buy-in from the main guy. The MVP of the league is out here getting steals and blocks on guys, and was okay being the Robin last night. You know what I'm saying? Because J Dub was Batman last night, bro. He was Batman. He had 40 points. Like you said, he was doing his thing on defense. Uh, I was so impressed. Like you said, even like Case and Wallace was out there balling. Uh, him and I mean, shoot, Case and Wallace and
Wiggins
Wiggins.
got out there.
Yeah, I think they had 25 together. You know what I'm saying? Which was more than what Haliburton gave. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, bro. The Thunder was on a mission last night, bro, and the energy in the building was, bro, it was next level, bro. Like it felt like the building was just rumbling. I mean,
Dang.
J Dub said at the end of the game, he said, "Bro, I was calling out stuff to people and they couldn't even hear me because it was that loud in there."
Dang.
Yeah, it electric, bro. Because we got these clappers, uh, that when you clap them joints. Matter of fact, I got one over in the corner. I have to get it to show you, but it's one of them is loud. But bro, when 18,000 people is hitting these clappers, it just reverberates. And I mean, I was laughing, I was dying laughing to myself. I said, bro, this got to be the most coordinated white people in the world, bro. Because whenever a song was playing, they was playing them clappers on beat, bro. It was like it was sounding like a snare up in there, bro.
Lord. I gotta ask you something about this though, right? Two things I wanted to get with you on.
What's up?
So let me ask you this though, bro. With Shea being the MVP
Hmm.
and J Dub turning it up these last couple games, he's entered the MVP, the finals MVP chat room, right?
Hmm.
Does that you know me and I'm an all-time person. Does this does that would it diminish the achievement for the season that Shea has had if he didn't get finals MVP, even though he won regular season MVP? If obviously J Dub won.
No, but J Dub wouldn't win it. J Dub has had phenomenal games. This game obviously being the breakout. Because even if you remove, let's just say Dub wasn't in the conversation. The next person up in the conversation is Alex Caruso. And then
I like Caruso, bro.
a lot of people do. In the city, he's like, I'm telling you, if he stays here, he's the next Mr. Thunder, bro, outside of Collison. But you you ain't gonna hear a bad word about Caruso in these Oklahoma streets. But let's not forget, even though Dub had a tremendous game yesterday, like people is like, yo, this is his breakout game. He's like, now people want to call him Scottie Pippen and everything. The thing is that Shea is still okay. For instance, game 4, we don't win that game if Shea doesn't score 15 points in the fourth quarter. You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Right.
he's done things, and let's not forget he had 31 points, but it's Shea's quiet 31 points. Shea
Right.
always has them games where you look up and he's like, wait, hold up. He scored how many? Like he always has these quiet, like silent assassin type 31 points that you just didn't even know because it's not loud. And that's the thing I hear a lot of people talking about how we're like the San Antonio Spurs, where it's not really sexy, it's not fun to watch. But and similar to what you said earlier about even the NBA, as far as like it's not real flashy because we had three pointers in game 4 and we still won the game.
I said, that's to me. This is my thing. I don't get me wrong. I totally appreciate exceptional 3-point shooting, right? I love to see Steph light it up. And I do love to see like when somebody is exceptional 3-point shooting, like I was thoroughly impressed though, man, on the game where the Pacers won um, and Obi Toppin hit 5 threes in the game. I was like, bro, I didn't know that was in his bag, and the way that he shot it comfortably, right? It does show you the evolution of ball for somebody who's known as a dunker is out here now in year 5, 6, and he is lighting away threes and everything comfortably. But I think that the one thing that I appreciate is the fact that I don't think that the three ball as the primary focus is going anywhere anytime soon, but I certainly appreciate that mid-range shots now with Shake. Shake getting to his spot and feeling like anytime I get to this midi, it's good. Like I'm perfectly fine with watching it, and I don't feel that it's any less entertaining. Like I think that to me, like I said, I think that people over the last maybe 10 years have moved away from where it's tradition where you're thinking two-way playing, and there's been such a rule change to reward offense and almost penalize defense. But like you said, when your best player, when your second best player, when your third best player, when your whole five, your total five lineup doubles down on playing defense. Anybody else that comes after them has to come with it. So then when you have Caruso as your sixth person coming off the bench, and he's a former all defensive player, when you got Casey Wallace, who it looks like he's going to be a future defensive player, all defensive player. I mean, everybody on there knows that you can't step on that court without sitting in that seat though, bro. And I appreciate that though, man. Like to me, it's like I don't want to watch just one aspect of basketball. Basketball is a two-sided thing. And so to just say people are only entertained by half of basketball is crazy to me, though, bro.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not just like that in just basketball though, because even in football, they want to see people score touchdowns. A lot of people say that's why they don't watch soccer because they don't score enough. So
I do have another question for you, though. Another question for you,
yeah.
though.
What's up?
What the hell? What the hell, Yante? What the hell, LeBron James? What the hell, Barry? What the hell, Burton? What the hell are we doing with Tyrese Haliburton, bro?
Absolutely nothing, bro. So I've been thinking about this all day. I knew this was gonna be a topic. This ain't Halliburton's fault. Here's the thing. This is why it's not Halliburton's fault. Number one, he got the locks and the clamps put on him. Like we forget this injury. Like you always say, right? If you own the court, then you own the court, right?
34 minutes he played.
Right. So you on the court, there's no excuses. I don't want to hear nothing about you was injured, you was hurt, like none of that, because you have the option to exit the game. You out there, okay? Because for instance, Aaron Gordon played for Denver. He had to pull hammy or whatever he had, and he still was a found a way to be effective, right? And don't get me wrong, I do think as being the passing point guard, he was effective. He had assists, he got it to the right people, especially down the stretch. He did all of those things. But at the end of the day, if he was still in the game and he wasn't effective, the person who fought it is Rick Carlisle. He is the coach. And the thing is I understand that that's your top player, and that's who earned the right to be on the floor because he's a starter, this, that, and the other. But at the same time, your back is against the wall. You had an opportunity to win the game. You've seen somebody else who had a hot hand. Do you think Mark Dagnall is going to take out somebody when Wiggins was going crazy? Did he pull Wiggs out? Nah. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hold on. With respect to that argument, though, right? Wiggins isn't the best player. It would be like pulling Shea because he ain't hooping.
But is Halliburton the best player though, or is it Siakam?
I,
Who won
well,
the Eastern Conference? Who won the Eastern Conference Finals? Who won?
I think that it is crazy though, that video of Haliburton just knowing that they was about to call his name and he started to walk on up. And listen, but don't get me wrong, though, man. I think that listen, I think that to me, I think that Siakam is like the 1A, 1B with them.
Right. And you
But I
still
think
had him
though,
out there. You still had him out there, and he is the one that won the championship. All I'm
Yeah,
saying, I'm
but
gonna let you get back to your point. All I'm
yeah.
saying is Carlisle's responsibility is to put people in place to win the game. And I'm not saying that you don't have him in the last 5 minutes. But what I'm saying is this is not the first time that Carlisle has did this. When Obi Toppin be going crazy, then he'll pull him, right? So because he's sticking to his rotations. So my thing is when McCullum or whatever his name is, what's his name?
TJ McConnell.
Yeah, when he's in the game going crazy and Haliburton isn't, you gotta leave him in. But at the same time, I'm glad you didn't. But go ahead with your point.
Okay, so listen, this is what I'm wondering. They say that bro sustained this injury in game two.
Mhm.
Not so this wasn't just a
No,
injury from last night,
no,
right?
he re-aggravated it last night.
He re-aggravated it, right? So this is my thing. When y'all won y'all home game, right? And you was doing your thing, like it didn't affect you then. And I can understand you re-aggravate stuff. But my thing is this though. You've been playing these minutes, and I tell you, you're right. If you out there, you out there. And so I'm not gonna sit here and give you the pass because you're slightly injured or you're slightly hobbled. You played 34 minutes out there. And I totally understand. If you say, listen, it's the finals, I'm not gonna not play. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna give you props on that because it is for the coach to say, is you playing out there to the detriment of the team, right? Especially when TJ McConnell, for some reason, he was balling, right? And I couldn't believe some of the like how easy it was of the shots that he was making, right? I think I watched him probably score about 17, 19 points,
Mhm.
and it was getting to some spots where I was just like, dang, he getting to these spots very easily, though, right?
Right.
But at the same time, though, man, like some of the stuff that I think that was surprising to me was that, like, I saw, what's the guy, Neesmith,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah, Neesmith. Like, I saw him not shooting as much, like he didn't take shots. And this is again, I'm thinking, like, bro, like it's the finals. So when you pulling up on your shot in the finals, like, when else is you going? It might not be, yeah, you got tomorrow, but come on, bro. Like the goal is to get this game in the bag. And so the thing I think is that part it's 50-50 to me. I think that a lot of it was Rick Carlisle, but I think a lot of it is 50-50 on the players. I think that parts that I saw that I thought was crazy is that the rotations, like I saw him playing guys and then not playing guys.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, what the hell are you doing? Because I thought that the dude, Benedict Matherin, like he was hooping. I didn't see him get in. He's like one of their first guys off the bench. He wasn't playing that much. And you already said they pull Obi Toppin when he hooping. You're not playing TJ McConnell when he hooping. You want to play it. So I can understand that you might say, well, you are our best player, or you're 1A, 1B, whichever one you want to call it. And so we believe overall that we'll go with where you going.
But
I don't know.
here's the thing. This is why I don't like how the media is portraying it. Because let's go there, right? If he would have sat out and they won the game because of the coaching decisions, hey, he did what was best for the team because he wasn't playing well, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing, the same conversation we had when Ant-Man wasn't being as productive, but they came close to winning the game. And I said, Charles, if they would have won the game, would we be having this conversation, right? So the thing is that that's the problem, right? If he would have sat out, then we would have been like, oh, it's the finals and your best player sitting out. Like that's what we would have been saying. And then, or oh, he done destroyed Halliburton's confidence, blah, 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 blah. Like if you was gonna ride the injury, just say he was injured, and like boom, when they ask you the question at the end of the game, hey, he re-aggravated this, and McCullum was out there balling, so we left him out there. He gave us the best chance to win the game. And Halliburton's getting treatment now, and we'll see him back game 6. Like there's so many ways you could have just directly answered this question if you would have won the game as well. But that's the thing. That's the reason why I'm putting it on the coach, because I've been watching every minute of every game of the Thunder and the Pacers play, and it feels like he's done that with other players in other situations to where they're on a high, and it's like then you gonna go and pull Obi Toppin, which I'm grateful for because you playing against my squad. So hey, if he hooping and you pull him out, thumbs up.
I'm not gonna even lie to you, bro. Like, I'm gonna tell you though, uh Neesmith and Obi Toppin are probably the more surprising guys from this whole playoff series for the Pacers, like more than Pascal. Because I know what Siakam is gonna do.
Mhm.
He's gonna give you he's gonna give you whatever it is. And I think that I've seen Tyrese Haliburton enough to kind of know. But I think that I just didn't know Neesmith had it like that. And I just didn't know that Obi had that kind of growth, though, bro. I seriously thought that he was just like a very athletic rim runner. And I just didn't know that he had a jump shot on him at all. And maybe it's just a three ball and not like middies and everything like that or shooting off the dribble. I ain't seen that. But I'm talking about like I've been thoroughly impressed with him in the playoffs, not just this series, but all playoffs long, though, bro. So yeah, it's crazy.
And he got a
Very
little edge
impressed.
to him though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will
He like
fight.
I said, he got some. Listen, he got some size on him. You know, he pretty. He's a pretty strongly built dude though, man. So, like very impressed though, man. But I think that, like I said, if you out there, bro, the minutes count. And I'm not gonna sit here because this is my thing. Like I guess my thing, if you're gonna be out there though, right? If you took if you took 6 shots, you might as well take 12 shots. If you got 6 assists, you might as well have 12 assists. Like
Yeah,
you got 4 points out there, right? So if you did make some kind of attempt though, bro.
they
And I
was
just felt like
rattling him,
that,
bro. They was rattling him.
yeah, they was on him. And so then when you're hobbled, and Caruso is hounding you, bro, and when Lou Dort is hounding you, bro, it's just like that. Come on, man. Like, this is my thing. Just because you're hurt, the decision making though, that like that some of these passes, they were like ball hand in the passing lane. Like this, it's fundamental defense though, bro. So I don't know, man. Not that it
And
would have made that much of a difference.
well, and I'm gonna tell you when we started getting them turnovers toward the end of the game, Chet was on him, and we had AC on Siakam, and it worked.
Yeah.
Like we started getting like we had like 3 back-to-back turnovers, and that was part of the Caruso diving on the ground and Shea getting the steal and Dort getting the steal. Like it man, it just kept getting louder and louder and louder on that stuff. And yeah, Dub getting 40, bro, was great. Like he was, it goes back to everything that this is why when I tell you you think Chet is the guy, I'm like, nah, if Dub is on, it's lights out because Chet, even this, this is his second year. People keep forgetting that this is only his second year. He's going to get better. This is a learning experience for him, and he's gonna get stronger. He's gonna realize on his own, you know what? If I'm gonna be banging, I gotta be a little bit stronger because, especially even when he's going up for dunks and stuff like that, he's got to be stronger. But I'm just saying, for me, it's always if Dub plays well, it's hard to beat us, bro.
Yeah. No, very impressive though, man.
Speaking of fights, speaking of fights, the big three just started back up. Dwight Howard made his debut in the big three, gets into a little tussle with the boy Lance Stephenson. Seems like we can't keep Lance Stephenson out the conversation for 2 straight weeks. What we doing about the big three tussle?
Nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. And this. I tell you this every time we talk about this, though, bro. In the NBA, it's one of the few. It's one of the only leagues where there is no um, equipment for protection, right? So there's no shin guards, there's no cups, there's no shoulder pads, there's no face masks, there's no helmets, there's nothing, right? And so for all of these near scuffles, there's probably only been maybe 5 times that I've ever seen in the history of the NBA where there are actually punches thrown, right? And so when you talk about, even though this is the big three, you got fewer players out there. And now, if you were really on that type of time, it's more accessible. So I didn't think nothing of it because I didn't see a punch thrown. And to me, it shows you that the players have more resolve because that's something that you just don't do in the NBA. And I can respect on some level that you don't throw punches because you don't want to stain the image of this particular league, though, right? But I think at the same time, I don't think much of it. Like a little wrestling around, that seems to be very much like what's been uh the past of the NBA though, bro. I don't it wasn't nothing to me because I didn't see a punch thrown. Now, if there
I
was a
mean,
punch thrown, maybe we could talk about something.
now, do you think you ain't giving them a little bit of respect for at least the sling on the ground? Okay.
No, none. Nothing because you think about that though, right? Dwight Howard, about 260. Lance Stephenson is about 230, right? These dudes, Lance Stephenson, Dwight Howard's probably about 6'9". Lance Stephenson is about 6'6", 6'7". So my thing is that if they were there, and before it got to the shoving, you could have swung off. You could have took off on him then, though, man. So no, I don't take nothing of this one. Ain't no punches thrown. And like I said, it's a good thing that it wasn't. But because they didn't throw any punches, it's light work to me. Real light work.
Now, does this give any extra eyes on the big three now? Like, because I remember when we talked off camera, you said you felt like this was more WWE than anything.
Hey, listen, I think that the fact that it wasn't any punches thrown makes it more in I mean not WNBA, but WWE. I
Yeah.
think that if anything though, it does. It's almost like a work. You know what I'm saying? Like now you got more. It shows that the league is more intense and that these guys are still fiery about trying to win. It does all that though, man. But it doesn't make me think that Lance Stevenson really wants to fight Dwight Howard. It could have been anybody, right? And it's like, but it's just that's what I said. It's just the NBA and basketball because you are literally right there in somebody's space. So if you were really on that type of time, fights would happen more often in the NBA though, bro. And I think there's a reason why it don't. And it's not to say that guys can't fight. It's just I don't know. Maybe they can't fight. I don't know. I don't see. You see the wrestling. That's cool though, man. But come on, man. Like even the Malice in the Palace, the punches that were
Mhm.
thrown between the Pacers and the Pistons were the punches thrown at fans, but the players wasn't throwing punches at each other. And I think that when you think about it, right? NBA true fights, I can only think of three where somebody connected. There was the Chris Childs punching Kobe.
Mhm.
There was Rondo and CP,
Mhm.
right? And then there was when Rudy T got punched, got his face blew up.
I thought did
Solid
Marcus?
punches.
No, who is it? Why do I feel like what's my boy name that got into it with Jeremy Lin over the Chinese tattoos? He's on the arena
Kenyon
show.
Martin.
Didn't he ever get into a fight or something?
Nah. He fouled Karl Malone real heavy one
Yeah.
time just to see if he was really on that type of time. But now, all of the things, all of the there's never been like any fights like that in the NBA though, bro. Like and nothing at all to make me that would lead me to believe that like, even here's a perfect example. James Jones, right? He's the one who everybody says, well, nobody mess with him. He's a professional ninja, basically. And even then, it's like they say he got into a fight off camera behind, at a practice or whatever, though, man. But um, like I said, I don't really hear about these real fisticuffs being thrown, bro. I just don't, and it ain't gonna happen.
All right, bro. Uh, what you got, bro? Because I got three topics we can hit. But what's
Well,
up?
listen, Desmond Bane surprisingly traded
Yeah.
to the Orlando Magic. Listen, um, they traded a lot for him, though, bro.
Yes and no. They
So let me tell you what I mean by that.
yeah.
So let's just say set aside KCP
Mhm.
because I think that the problem that people have with KCP is that when you expect and you need KCP to give you the performances. He is not, right? But when he's no pressure, watch. Well, I tell you, KCP is going to go for a career high now that there's less pressure on him, right? But
Yeah.
that's another conversation. But they also traded, I believe it was it Cole Anthony? Um, so this is the one thing I think is great. The thing I say that when they gave up a lot for him, it's the draft picks,
Hmm.
right? There is a point where they give up some unprotected draft picks. Now the thought I can totally understand is two things. One, you don't know what the drafts in 2 years are going to look like, but for two, if your team is as good as you think it will be, then you're not going to have likely a top pick. You're going to have somewhere in the mid range. So if you're saying that in 2 years, we project that if it's an unprotected draft swap or draft pick of ours and it's going to be pick 15, it ain't that big of a loss like you would be if it was a number one draft pick, though, bro.
Yeah. Now, what does this say for Memphis though? Like, does this mean that they about to blow it up? Are we about to start hearing the Ja Morant calls, the
Listen,
JJ talks? So
here,
what we doing?
here's my thing, though, bro. I think that this is one of those things that's a very slippery slope for Memphis because if you think that Ja Morant is truly a generational talent, right? If you really think that he's a generational talent, um, then you just say we got to retool because even though we had Desmond Bane, it didn't work out, so we got to shuffle some things around for some reason or another. But unless you were saying we gonna package these picks up to get another current guy that we think could get us, something more, then that would be the way that I would think that you would go, right? If you're Memphis, because I guess when I look at that, even with these draft picks, you mean, do you see somebody who you see on the horizon that's going to be equal to Ja Morant with Ja Morant's potential or potential to be as good as him? I don't know. And so I think that it's a slippery slope when you start to kind of play around with that whole are we going to rebuild it early versus rebuilding it too late? I don't know. I think that it's something that you got to consider though, right? For the right rebuild button and for the right player, I, I could see them listening, right? I could see them listening. They haven't like this. John Morant's missed a lot of games the last couple of years. And
Hmm.
even when he was there, they got to they've only won one playoff series since with him being there, though, right? So that's with him being in the league for what 5, 6 years now. So I think that for them, they're probably thinking, or at least considering, like, all right, if we had to move up when a team typically would rebuild, is that such a bad thing to consider right around now? So it's something that you got to consider, though, bro.
Um, with everything that Memphis just got for Bane, does that mean the asking price for KD goes up?
No, 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 no. I don't think so. I don't think so only because KD's older, his contract is different. I think that to get KD, you would basically have to take on this contract and then maybe like a 2 year extension. So you're gonna be getting a KD that's like 39 years old. I think that the circumstances are a little different as well because now, right, you can see if you Memphis can now go after KD if you got some draft picks, right? I think that you can do that, but I think that I think Kevin Durant's situation is just a little different, just because of his contract and where he is. I think that Desmond Baines, when you really think about where he is in his NBA contract, I didn't know that with the amount of threes that he's made, there's only Steph and maybe Buddy Hill that's made more threes than him since he's been in the league, though, bro.
Yeah.
He got most improved player. He got, he is way more accomplished than what I think people would let to believe, though, bro. So I don't think that it changes anything with KD, though, bro. And I still think that KD, I thought it was funny that KD said that he wanted to go to the Knicks, but the Knicks didn't want him. That is something that I think is curious because if I'm the Knicks, oh, let me ask you this: would you consider maybe Carl Anthony Towns for KD and maybe some other whatever. But if that was the anchor of that deal, Carl Anthony Towns for KD.
If it was just, I mean, like you said, I don't know all the other details of the, how that would work, but KD for Carl Anthony Towns, you need another consistent scorer. I think that if OG is going to be healthy, he can, fill that void because Cat can play, he can shoot the three and stuff like that. He could also kind of post up a little bit. So, and KD ain't gonna do that. So, and is KD better at defense than Cat?
Yes.
So then maybe it's
Cat's defense is Cat's size. His defense is pretty terrible. And I'm gonna tell you, if I'm the Knicks, I would absolutely do it, bro.
Mhm.
Because here's my thing. I think the reason why I would do it, I would keep Cat unless it's Kevin Durant. Unless you talk about Giannis. I think and to me, I think even if you get Kevin Durant or Giannis, I think you just change the flow of your offense then, though, man. Like I think that it just I think that having someone like a Giannis changes Jalen Brunson's game because now if you got Giannis, the paint's going to be more crowded, right? But I think if you get Kevin Durant, it allows Jalen Brunson to still do his thing. It allows KD to still be number two because he don't want to be the leader, and
That's
it's
right.
Jalen Brunson's team. Um, which I think is funny, by the way. I saw Stephen A. Smith says, "Oh, this is Kevin Durant we talking about. Anywhere he goes, he's going to be the number one option unless he says otherwise. He's the number. He said there's no situation he could ever think of when Kevin Durant isn't the number one option." And I laughed because I said, "Bro, that's because you ain't been watching the
You ain't been
Splash Brothers
watching.
podcast
Uh-uh.
because yeah, you've been fooled to believe that he is currently a number one player." But it does allow him to be number two.
Yeah.
Number two, no leadership responsibilities whatsoever, and also no pressure because the Knicks have been falling short for years, though, right? And I think that to some people they might think, oh, that's more pressure for you to bring it on the Knicks. I think that it would really boost significantly his career accolades and his greatness by him winning one with the Knicks. But I don't think there's no pressure though.
Well,
Nah.
the other thing though, the Knicks still don't even know what they're doing about their head coach. So they got a lot of stuff to figure out. But Houston, on the other hand, not Houston, but the Suns said if they do get the trade deal done with Houston, they would be exploring options to get rid to move on from Jalen Green.
For some reason, though, bro, I think that people just don't like him like that. Don't like his game like that. And it's weird because we saw in the playoffs where he wasn't very consistent, but I just don't think that people like his game though, bro. I think he's great. I think he's great when he's good. He is top tier though, bro.
Do
But
you think?
here's my thing about it.
Mhm.
I think this is what I believe. I believe at his absolute best, and this is game wise, mentally, I think he could be like J Dub, bro. If he played defense, I think he could be like J Dub, where
Do,
I see he has the athleticism, he has the burst, and I think he could be like J Dub, bro.
do you think he would fit better in these out of these three locations? I know he could. We could play all day, but let's just say San Antonio, the Bucks, or Philly. Where would he fit better?
Jalen Green or KD?
Jalen Green.
I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, bro. I think that he would probably play better with the Suns. I think if you pair him with Booker, he's the number two guy clearly at that point. And I think that you don't have to force him into being a number one guy. You could just have him play. I think that that would be it. But here's the thing about it. I think that he would get exposed for what he's not if he played with the Spurs. Right. So that's why I think that the Spurs got a guy, Vessel, who I think if he had enough shots or had the green light like Jalen Green, he would do the same thing. So I don't think the Spurs would get him. And I couldn't see him playing next to Giannis. I think Giannis, if they entertained that, Giannis would like just trade me tomorrow. Then if y'all gonna bring him here, so I think that with all things equal, I can see him now. I can see him playing with the Kings, right? Since the Kings let go, I don't like. I think if you're the Kings, you can take him, and you can give up Zach Levine. You already got rid of Fox, so I think that you can get rid of him.
Yeah, but they just got Zach Levine. They ain't getting rid of Zach Levine. Like I
They
think,
talking about they talk about trading Carl Anthony Towns, or not say they talking about it, but it would be possible for the right deal.
yeah, but it's New York though. New York is made for making them dumb decisions though. De'Aaron Fox asked out though. It,
Yeah.
it wasn't like they was just looking to see what they could get for him. He asked out. So I'm
Well,
saying,
he did just give him the courtesy. I ain't gonna re-sign my deal. So
yeah, I mean, but that's talk for trade me. That's, I mean, we know what it is.
right.
Yeah.
No,
All
I
right.
get it.
Couple more things. Which way I'm gonna let you pick which direction you want to go. We got some the diddler, or we got some Kales.
What we got in the diddler, man?
So they finally showed the freak off videos to the jury. They did not make it public, so the jury had on headphones and they were able to watch it. And I think they were only able to watch 30 seconds or so of, I think, out of three videos. And I believe the prosecutors are gonna wrap it up by Friday. So yeah,
What's being wrapped up by Friday? The
like
the
their
the freak
case.
off takes the
No,
whole
just,
thing.
yeah, just like their that this is the case that we're trying to prove, blah 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 blah. And then I think, what is it? The defense team comes next or whatever or something.
If this is all they got, it's not enough. I don't know what's on these tapes, right? I'd have to know
They from
what's on these.
according to what people are saying, it's all consensual adult stuff on these tapes. I don't know that there was any underage stuff on there. Like I think it was all consensual. So the thing is that, because that's what, they're trying to say that people were coerced into doing this stuff though. Like that's what they were trying to prove. Like, yes, people were consensually doing it, but they were in fear of their life to not do it, if that makes sense. Like
I
if
get you. I'm not seeing enough to be convinced, bro. If put this, I'm not seeing enough to. I'm not. I'm not seeing enough to be reasonably doubting that this was completely consensual. I'm not seeing the coerced. I don't think that the guy who was the Punisher felt like he was coerced after that point. He walked away and stopped at his own will. I don't think any of that, bro. So I think that listen, I'm not seeing. Listen, maybe I've watched too many court TV movies, shows, whatever. I am not seeing enough to make me believe that if this is it, right, then that's enough to say the RICO charge, the drug charge, the gun charge, the SA, the trafficking. If all of this that they presented right now is their case, it's not enough to me though, bro. And it's enough for it for a I would think based off of what I've seen on TV that you've been a part of a jury.
Mhm.
I never have. But if I'm saying I'm going to convict this guy for 20 years based off of this, I'm not seeing for what I've been hearing or reading. It's not enough, bro.
I get that. But also, I don't, like I said, nobody knows what's on the tapes. It's all speculation. Only people that know what's on the tape is the jury. So we don't know what's on there. Maybe, I don't know if there was any minor stuff on there or what they saw. Like there hasn't been even a transcript because they don't want it leaked.
And generally speaking, I'm going to assume that Cassie's in these tapes because all of the freak offs involve her, right?
I
So
think she's in some of them.
okay, so Yeah, man. No, it's not enough, man. I wanna I don't think that Cassie is lying whatsoever.
Mhm.
But to be the devil's advocate for this whole thing though, bro, I'm not seeing it like that though,
Okay, well, let me ask you this: based upon just what you know and with everything you've been saying, do you think he would do any time? Like, do you think they might give him 5 years and time served or something?
man. Okay, so based off of what I'm seeing, like they haven't proven anything.
I mean,
So
this
why should he
it's
do
the
any
evidence that they
time though?
because it's the
Yeah,
evidence they found in the home, like the paraphernalia, the not the sex stuff or the baby oil or nothing like that, but I'm talking about the guns, the
okay, so if you found so was this was okay, this is what I don't know, and
mm,
you can correct me if I'm wrong. Were he did he have illegal or impermissible usage or ownership of these guns?
that part I don't know. I can't even answer
Okay.
that 100%.
The drugs that he had. Is it enough drugs that you can charge him criminally for for this drug? Like as far as you know, he could have had these drugs on him and he intended to use all these at his party. So he wasn't intended to distribute drugs at all. He just had these for his personal use. If you're telling me that those are charges that apply to those two things, that you just had possession of
Mm,
these drugs and that the possession in itself requires 5 years, 7 years, whatever it is. But yes, but I'm talking about the Rico, bro. Like I'm not seeing anything at all that after all of this that leads me to believe that he is like some Rico kingpin. And I think that the problem that I'm having with that though, man, is that usually when you throw out, from what I've seen, when you throw out this Rico charge, it's like this big safety net that you throw out everything and you say, all right, well, we're gonna throw this whole thing out there and then we go like crabbing. We gonna pull everything in, and whatever we catch, we gonna go ahead and run with it like that. So that's like almost like with the Lil Durk thing, though, right? It's like they're charging him with Rico, and so it's like he might not be charged with, but they said we go get you for something. I just
right,
don't
right.
know if
But I
I'm
think the
seeing
thing that they
anything
gonna
at all.
but I think the
Mhm.
thing that can get him on is trafficking. Because like I told you, we talked about the definition of what trafficking is. The fact that you have several people talking about people coming from out of town to do the activities that's on the freak offs, then that might be something enough to they can charge him for again maybe 5 years, 7 years, or what. I don't know, but I'm
I,
saying
I I just think that like I get what you mean. I just think that listen, if you done seen the freak offs, right? Then you know how he give it up. You know how he get down on these freak offs. And if you're telling me that, oh, when you have people that come from out of town to join these freak offs, then that what makes it illegal or however you want to do it, then if that's the case, though, that's straight. But if you're saying that these are consensual adults that are coming across into town, you're going out here to party, which is something that I think that I would think happen. And it's not to defend him, but I'm just saying if we're being devil's advocate. And I think that this isn't, I just thought that it was going to be more, right? I thought it was going to be
yeah,
more
but
hardcore things.
right, but it's exactly what you said. We throwing everything out there and trying to see what can stick. It's the same thing with
Mm.
Jonathan Majors, right? You had all of these, like, even though he wasn't charged with the big charges, he still was guilty of something. And that's why Marvel were justified in firing him because you were guilty of blah, 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 blah. So what I'm saying is they might not get him on the big stuff or whatever, but the thing is, if you are paid for activities, then that is, and you come from out of town, that is, like I said, it whether we agree with it or not, we know what it is. We know people come from, like, when you get flued out and stuff like that, we know what it is. So yeah, I
I don't know, man. I just think that I don't know, man. I just think that I I this is my thing.
mhm,
I'm low key disappointed. Probably that's what it is more than anything. Like
mhm,
I just thought that they were gonna say, "Oh no, we putting him under the jail because
mhm.
we got these hardcore things And these are all the things that we found him guilty of. And here's the proof. And
Mhm.
when I'm watching the proof has reasonable doubt. It's
Right.
not as solid as I thought, though, bro.
Yeah, yeah. No,
That's
I
all.
I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm just again, we just having a conversation about
Yeah.
what they do have versus what we feel. So
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
news we was talking about Kels. So apparently he's OD'd in jail and they had the hospital, he's hospitalized at the present moment. And it's interesting because the reason why it doesn't feel just cut and dry like that, like I don't know the details, like I don't know if he just took something, whatever. But what's crazy to me is because he has been talking about alleging that he found out that was some that they were setting up to kill him in jail. So that's where it was just like bells going off, like bing bing, something's not adding up because that was something his team just filed probably a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, that they were saying that they had somebody on record basically saying like nah, they were planning to kill him in jail because some new evidence came out that would link something. It sounded like a they because the Breakfast Club was joking about it, saying it sounded more like a in the closet storyline versus real life, the way it was like the story was drawn out. But it
Yeah.
again, looking at this, that he's hospitalized now, that he almost OD'd. Because I mean, what I'm saying is, what happens if Kale's I'm not wishing this on him, obviously, but what happens if he does die? Will they take the claim serious then? Will they then look into it? Like, what's that's where I'm like, it just it's kind of weird that all of a sudden we ain't never heard him OD the whole time in jail. Now all of a sudden, after he says that he feels like there's a plot to kill him, that he ODs, like, you know, because
Oh no.
he filed for to get out early for something. That I think that's what it was for, because he found out the threat on his life. But what was you gonna say?
Listen, I don't have nothing to say about it. Like, this is my thing, to be honest with you, for the things that you were being charged for you to be able to do a file to have your to be early released because nah, nah, bruh. Nah, not for the stuff that you were found guilty of, man.
Yeah.
Like, nah, we good. We good on that one though, bro. And like I said, I like if you were saying this while your trial was still ongoing, then I might be able to be like, oh, you kind of got a point. Like I would try to be devil's advocate because you haven't been formally charged, though, bro. Like Diddy, right? If we're talking just if we're just shooting the breeze and we're being conversational about it, you could say, all right, well, let's just talk about being devil's advocate. Nah, bro, you already got yours, so go on, sit on them. That's it, though, bro. So I don't have nothing to say about his, though, to be honest with you. Sit down,
Yeah.
have several seats.
Well, look, bro. Last week on the when we was ending the pod, you said you was dropping some new music, and that.
Yeah, man.
So how's things been going? What's the word?
Man, so listen, I dropped Spin It All though, bro, and it was dope. I think that it's been real cool. I think the funny thing about it is, man, is I'm actually contemplating if I'm gonna slide out another single from this EP. Probably it's just if I can. I might try to see if I can throw this one on out there as well ahead though, man. But it's pretty cool though, man. I think the one thing that's real dope about this particular song, Spin It All, it's been a song that I have been sitting on for a little while. But I think the one thing that's real dope is that it's part of the EP Here for a Good Time.
Mhm.
And so the whole idea behind Here for a Good Time as an EP is that it's a set of songs that aren't necessarily like the theme of my Bel Air,
So yeah, because
sets basically.
you have direction, unlike
Yeah,
what we
yeah, yeah. Well, so here for a good time. The whole idea is that these are all like songs that I think are bops, dancing songs, club songs. So man, because I thought about that though, man. I was like, yo, if you at the kickback though, bro, you're not trying to just have somebody real talking you to death at the kickback though, man. So I thought that now this was something where you can catch a little vibe too, like Charlie say, trying to catch a yeah, it's a vibe though, man. But I'm pretty excited about it though, man. It's 7 songs on this EP. This will be in one of them. And they're real cool though, man. Just something that's easy listening to though, man. That just got you something that you can do a little cutting the rug to though, man. So I'm pretty excited about it though. But spin it all though, man. Everywhere you stream music, you can check it out though. It's dope.
And
Trust
the red light is out on it too.
and the red light is out on it. I
You
think
got
the
a
one thing
little
that's
bit.
cool is that I'm actually looking to do I got red lights for just about man, almost every song, as a matter of fact, on this one. So I think I'm gonna probably start dropping more of those over the next few days, though, man. But no, I'm pretty excited because I think these are all, like I said, when you listen to the songs, I think the one thing that's cool is that you don't necessarily have to listen to them consecutively like you would if you were listening to an album.
Mhm.
But I think that the one thing about it is when you do listen to them, you can kind of tell they all kind of got you get a certain feel to it, though, bro. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, though, man. So good. So far, I got a lot of good feedback, though, man.
Bro, I guess what is it, the shade room or somebody's out here disrespecting my king of R&B, bro. Apparently they put a top 100.
Oh my god, they did the top. So Billboard editors or writers they're putting together a list of the top 75 R&B singers, right? And I don't know what their criteria is. It just says best, right? And so they had Tank at
67th.
67. And listen though, bro, I'm not mad at his placement on the list. I haven't seen the comprehensive list. The only thing I think that you could really, without knowing their criteria, I think he's behind. Isn't he behind Keith Sweat?
I don't know. I didn't look at let me see.
He's behind Ashanti, which is the only thing that I think that's crazy. But they got him ahead of like Etta James, though, bro. They got him ahead of some all-time great singers. And so when you really think about it like this, though, right? You're talking about in the history of R&B, right? You're naming in the history of all of the singers, 75 of them, bro. I think that Tank should be proud that he is one of the 75 mentioned, though, bro. Like with all things, when you really look at it that way, like you're talking
Nah,
about 75 in the pool of thousands.
no. This is my thing. To be on the list, cool, but to be behind some of these people, nah. Like Fantasia, yes. You trying to tell me Tank can't sing bigger than Neo, bro? Nah. Relax, bro. And
Neo got bigger hits.
huh?
Neo got bigger hits.
For other people.
No, I think Neo
Yes.
got bigger hits than Tank.
No. He don't.
Yeah, but listen,
That's another
Neo
conversation
has
for another day.
bigger hits. Listen, Neo has bigger hits than Tank, bro.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. We need to post that on the Slash Brothers podcast
We
poll.
do need to post that. I'm not mad at Neo being a but again, you're saying the best singer. If you're talking about the best singer,
Singers,
sure, yeah. So I don't know what the criteria is, but
yeah, and even Ashanti. I'm sorry, I love Ashanti, but Ashanti's never been known just like for being a in the category or in the vein of Mariah Carey. Again, it's no disrespect to Ashanti, but if you talking about singing though, she not out singing Ashanti, bro.
he's behind Jill Scott. Like I'm saying, I don't think he's a better singer than Jill Scott.
I didn't say he was, but I'm not saying that Jill Scott should be where she's at either. And I
That's what
definitely
that's so.
and here's the thing, I honestly believe he can sing better than Keith Sweat. Like Keith Sweat got
Oh
hit.
yeah. That's true.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
I but
Yeah.
75, listen, 75 of the world's population of R&B, 75, that's not a bad thing to be.
But this is the
It's
thing.
just
While we might not know the criteria, it literally says Billboard's list of 75 best R&B singers. So it's not, it don't say nothing about who got the bigger hits. If you talking about singers, then I understand why this is disrespectful, bro. And I
I
love
don't
his
know, man.
response. He just said, listen, I see these kinds of things and refuse to get emotional. I'm really a monster, and I'll just leave it at that. I get it. Because this is another conversation that I got put in because Chris tagged me in a post and he was talking about Jamie Foxx. And he was like almost like, hey, bro, you need to tell my cousin that Jamie Foxx is a better singer than Tank. And I was like, hold on there, bro. That is a very close comparison. As much as I am a Tank fan, Jamie Foxx, them two are kind of yin and yang out, a 1A 1B. Because I don't know that I could just confidently say that Jamie Foxx is a better singer than Tank. I can't do it. Now, if you say Genuine, all right.
You don't think that you can't confidently say that Jamie Foxx is a better singer than Tank.
Cannot confidently cannot do it. Bro, I think those two, when you're talking about, when a lot of times we compare people, like we compare Usher and Chris Brown or something like that. Those two that's a very good comparison. It's almost like when people argue Jordan and LeBron, right? Like I told you I'm gonna stop arguing with people. If they say Kobe, I told you I'm gonna start arguing with people. It's not like two opposites where you say, well, Keith Sweat can sing better than Tank. We know that's false. I can't confidently think that Jamie Foxx, though, can beat Tank in singing.
Listen, I think that they both have. That's crazy, by the way. I think that they both have similar ranges, but I
Exactly.
think that Jamie Foxx is better.
But that's preference, though. I think it's preference.
Uh, Right, but I think that the reason why I would say that is this. I think that Jamie. This is the thing I think it is. I think that they have very similar ranges. I think that Jamie Foxx's voice is more dynamic. I think that Jamie Foxx's voice has more texture, so it feels a little bit more soulful to me. And I think that Jamie Foxx, even though they have similar ranges, I think
Mhm.
that Jamie Foxx can step outside of that range, and I think that Tank can give you from a technical perspective, but from a soulfulness perspective, I think that Jamie Foxx will take it there, and I think that he'll give you a certain feel that Tank wouldn't. So I understand what you're saying by they have similar ranges, but the dynamics of those ranges
But
is not
I
similar.
still think it's preference because, but I also think what influences this decision is because Jamie Foxx is a bigger star than Tank.
We're talking about just the singing though, so
I,
it doesn't
okay, so
influence me at all.
we just talking about the singing. Then they are two very similar things, and then from that point, it is very much preference. That's what I think because
Sure.
which again
That's
is another good poll, which we can definitely put that out.
that is
And last thing we got to talk about before we get out of here, bro. Apparently, I guess Timberland is in some like he just signed that AI artist, and so AI has been a huge thing for Timberland right now, which he's linked to Suno.
right.
And I guess Suno and some other AI company he's gotten sued because of some of the producers, the way that the AI is sampling stuff, that it sampled an actual beat of an artist that actually had their tag and stuff in it. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
talk to me about that.
No, I think the thing that made it bad, right? Let's talk about the two things as separate things, right? So for one, I think that when you talk about, all right, we going, I'm signing an AI artist, right? I think that one of the things that it takes away from, right, is the ability to feel like you can touch an artist. We talked about that before, where it's like one of the things that's weird when you say, "Oh, this is an AI artificial it's artificial music," right? And it's an algorithm sound though, right? And I think that one of the things that people have a problem with is real artists who really write music. It's like a cheat code though, basically though, right? And I think the part that's tricky is that Timberland is a producer and he's also an artist, right? But he's a producer first. And so I guess the same way how you sample sounds and do this, that, and the other, I guess to him it's just a voice, it's a vessel to get a song out. But it's kind of whack to me. I'm not gonna lie. Like I do like the idea of using some AI to help you out in different production, to do songwriting, and everything like that. But I think they just have a whole AI artist as like if you say, oh, well, we got a Grammy Award for the best new AI artist or whatever, I think that's just whack to me altogether. Though it feels like the art of music is human, and so when you remove that completely, that element of it, I think it's whack. But I think the part that's even worse, though, right, for Timberland, aside from that, is the beat part because I think Timberland at one time played a guy's beat on one of his. He has a on TikTok. Timberland has kind of a call-in kind of thing where you can call into his show, submit some music or whatever. And Timberland played some dude music before on there. This producer, he has his own producer tag in there, or whatever, though, right? And then fast forward, you see Timberland, he's playing a beat, and it looks very much like he basically took this beat, dropped it into some AI and says, give me a beat that has a similar feel to this. And then boom, the AI created this beat. Maybe he made some tweaks to it or whatever, but he forgot the producer's tag was in there. So they recreated the producer's tag as part of the sound of the overall beat. And the bad part about it is it was the same bop. And so for Timberland to be that head nod king, for you to just be sitting here like, oh, this that Timberland knock right here, when it's like, bro, like you didn't basically beat Jack this dude's beat that you also incorporated his it, like
I
no, I was
see,
so disappointed in Timberland, bro.
I took it as though he was showing off soon what Suno's capability was. That's the way I took it. Uh,
Now I think he was riding the credit for it. Like I think he was riding like, oh, this that new tempo. Somebody come jump on this, and like it looked bad to me though, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
I get it, but I'm also not mad at Timberland trying to jump on what the new wave of music is going to be because he's always been fast forward and stuff like that. The syncopated beats, the drums being off beat, off on beat, like that stuff. So I'm not mad at the AI artist either because number one, he's honest about this is the AI artist. Two, it's about consumption. If the people listen to it and like it, then what are we supposed to do? The other thing is we watch movies with CGI. We mad because it's not practical effects? Like it's entertainment. That's what it is. So if you for yourself is like, I'm not listening to no AI music, I get that. But if the Billboard show that nah, the AI song is a bop and he was a part of it, I can't really be mad at that. And you know, I'm okay with AI.
Man, listen, I guess I am okay with AI though, bro. But I mean, I'm just saying, like to me, it's just like one of those things. It's it seems like a like the movies though, right? At some point when the AI started to replace the humans, though, man, and the robots started to replace the humans, then you kind of get AI, and you kind of get the drones, and you get all these other things, though, bro. It's the beginning of Star Wars, as far as I'm concerned, man.
Getting of I am robot and all of it.
Yeah.
I get it, bro. Well, look, man, we didn't held these people 15 minutes over. We just wanted to get them topics in there before we closed on out. Oh, I before before I let you get yours off about your music, bro. This weekend, a couple of things. We did the Juneteenth celebration. Charlie debuted her new song. She was out there doing her thing. The videos available on Facebook. Bro got the opportunity to sing crazy in front of the boy CeeLo. Goody Mob was the headliner for the Juneteenth celebration out here, and he just happened to be in the same place that I was at, and got to talk. Hey, the boy didn't saluted and knighted me, bro. So your boy can't tell you boy nothing, bro. It was super dope having conversation with him and just like you could just tell he was really listening to everything because he was like repeating back things that he had already talked to somebody previously about. So he already had some background information by the time I got a chance to tap in with him. So it was just dope, a dope experience to talk to him and for him to be like the exact same dude that you see on TV. Like his personality is the same, but you also knew he was a star. You know what I'm saying? Like he had the aura.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never got to talk to him before, but I have seen him before. I think it was him and Jazzy Faye in a club one time when we was in Vegas when I was in Meant to Be. We ran across him, but I didn't get to like talk to him like how I did this time. So yeah.
And by the way, I didn't see that you had your video with Charlie on there.
Yeah. So
Am I missing? I'm looking at. I saw it, but I didn't see it. Okay,
yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you. I did see it.
Okay. Well, look,
I
man. From
saw it. It was
ATL,
in. Look, I guess I treated you like everybody else. I saw a bunch of your stuff. I'm just like, where Charlie at?
right. That's exactly why I didn't post the full video. That's just gonna be on YouTube because I knew people only wanted to see Charlie, bro.
Where Charlie at?
Now this is how disrespectful it was, bro. So Sarah's talking to Samaya, and I guess they was asking about what we had going on for the weekend. She said, "Oh yeah, Charlie's performing at the Juneteenth celebration." I said, "And I am too." And she said, "Oh yeah, and Ahmad's performing too." I'm like, "See, this is what I'm talking about. This right here."
And took over, man. See the star.
Yeah, because this is what's crazy. When we got backstage, people was like, "Oh yeah, she need a mic too." They was like, "Oh yeah, we remember you from last time." Like, and then like Cam came up, was like, "Yeah, I see you all the time. Like, I can't wait to do this." Blah 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 blah. So yeah, definitely, bro. Definitely, she taking over, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope.
Well, look, man, from ATL to OKC, we are the Slash Brothers. Thank y'all for joining us, and for everybody that watches on the playback, we will see y'all on the next one. And thank you for hanging out. We out.
Peace.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time.
Yep.